Keith Moon of The Who is one of the most infamous drummers ever. You all wanted a video dedicated to his drum sound, so here we go. Moon the Loon, as Keith Moon is often called, was one of the most legendary and important rock drummers ever. His unique sound, highly energetic booze-fueled style, and his untimely death in 1978 made him a drumming legend. Things he is famous for include destroying his drum kits after every show, driving a Rolls-Royce into a pool, smashing up hotel rooms, putting dynamite into his bass drum and blowing it up after a gig, passing out on stage, and putting water and a live fish inside of his acrylic floor tom. It's safe to say that Keith Moon is not just any normal drummer. But let's take a look at what sets him apart musically. Mostly known as a member of the English rock band The Who, their career started in the 1960s at the end of the British Invasion, a movement in which British bands like the Beatles and the Stones became popular in America and gained worldwide success. Their first album, My Generation, set the bar for their hard, unique sound at the time. Take a listen to the album's title track.
Put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. It's my generation, baby. Why don't you all?
The song shows not only the very energetic and comparatively hard style of the band, but also how busy Keith Moon's drumming is. Side note, he was 18 years old when this was recorded. He really put the drums up front in the band. The audio quality of the recording isn't that great by today's standards, but at the time this song caught right on with the wild mood of teenagers in England. In the early days, Keith Moon was using mostly Ludwig 4-piece kits, which were a go-to at the time. The sizes he used in 1965 were a 22-inch kick, 13 and 16-inch toms, as well as a 14 by 5-inch aluminum snare. Since we will also look at the later song Baba O'Reilly in this video, we decided to go for a drum set that matches the one Keith Moon would have played later in his career. So we picked our Pearl President kit, which includes 12, 13, 14-inch rack, 14, 16 and 18-inch floor toms, and a 20 and 22-inch kick drum. All of the drums are outfitted with coated Remo Ambassador batter, as well as the stock reso heads, and the toms are tuned medium. This gives them the open yet warm quality we're looking for. This is what they sound like. The bass drums have felt strips installed for muffling on both heads, with the batter being tuned medium-low and the reso head slightly higher. And here's how it sounds. The snare we chose is a 14 by 5-inch Pearl Sensitone, which comes close to the Superphonics Moon used. The tuning for My Generation is pretty high, and here's how it sounds. To complete the kit, we chose Siljan Avidus cymbals in 18 and 20-inch sizes, as well as an 18-inch K Dark Thin Crash. This setup comes close to Moon's Pisces sound for both songs we look at in this video. Interestingly, he often didn't include a hi-hat in his live setups just because he'd almost never used them. So we did the same. As far as microphones go, we went with a Biodynamic M201 on the snare and TG I51s between every pair of toms, which was common back then in order to save channels on the limited recording consoles. This gives them a thinner sound than having a mic on every tom, and pronounces more attack in relation to the tone. For the bass drum, we went with an M88 in front of the reso head for low end without much attack. An M130 as a mono overhead and an M160 as a room mic complete the setup. While mixing, Pascal decided to not even use the tom mics at all, with most of the sound coming from the room and overhead mics, which was probably also how The Who recorded back in 1965. Check out the result.
People try to put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. Take my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation, baby.
Pascal made sure to give the mix its distinctive sound by using lots of distortion to simulate the overloaded mic preamps of the original. If you want to know more about how he mixed the sound, be sure to check out the mixing videos on our platform, ArtOfDrumming.com. Now let's look at the later Keith Moon and what most drummers today probably associate closest with him, the sound of the 1970s and his iconic double bass kits. We picked Baba O'Riley as a prime example of his sound and style after the band had become more successful. By then, they were able to afford better studios and gear in general. You can clearly hear it in the better sound quality of the song. It is amazing how the whole band's sound had evolved in just the 6 years in between the two albums. The drum sound also changed. By the 70s, it had become more common to remove the resonant head of the bass drums for more direct sound. So he did the same, placing the mic inside of the shell and adding a biodynamic TGD71 for a bit more attack. Here's how the drum sounds. The toms have also become a bit drier, so Pascal used the kit's internal mufflers in order to dial in the sustain and overtones of the toms. Here's how they sound. Lastly, the snare has also changed. The tuning is now lower and slightly muffled, so Pascal installed a vintage Sonor clip-on muffler. Additionally, we now went for a pair of biodynamic M90 Pro X's since The Who had been recording in stereo by 1971. Pascal also taped on some headphones, just like Keith Moon did back in the day, in order to hear the backing track they played to when the band performed the song live. Before we get to his performance, just a short reminder that if you want to support our channel and help us sustain the Recreating Iconic Drum Sound series, we have a donation link in the video description. You can also support us by checking out our sample and loops packs at shop.artofdrumming.com. Our The Who pack will be available soon, and we're extremely thankful for your support. Now, with the mix redone, here's Pascal's version of Baba O'Riley. How did you like our recreation? What other crazy Keith Moon stories do you know? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more videos like this from us. See you next time.